So NBA free agency is going on right now, which, by the way, slight disclaimer, I'm super annoyed that they started doing all of the legal tampering stuff on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Like, especially early enough in the day where it's, okay, I guess I just have to spend my entire Sunday paying attention to Shams Charania's Twitter account. That was mildly annoying.
Wondering why they do that. Why Sunday?
I don't know.
You know,
why not just today? Because then we could just be in all of a frenzy reacting to everything as it comes down.
Yeah, exactly.
Like this little tidbit that we got yesterday, or I think a couple of days ago, courtesy of Mark Stein and Jake Fisher, who do a great job covering the NBA. As the Stein line reported Friday night, easy for me to say, Chris Paul is determined to play closer to his family in Los Angeles after a successful season in San Antonio. Paul, of course, quarterbacked the Suns to the NBA Finals in 2021, his lone finals appearance in 20 NBA seasons. And league sources tell the Stein line that a reunion with the Suns is indeed possible if Tyus Jones leaves Phoenix in free agency, close quote. Chris Paul back in the Valley? Are you in or are you out on that idea?
Oh, my goodness. Honestly, I think that ship has sailed.
Really?
I am a Chris Paul fan. There's no doubt about that. Yet at the same time, you're establishing a culture here that is going to be built around youth for the most part. Now, I know that you can say, well, they're going to need leadership, and you're right about that. They need Devin Booker to be that guy. See, if you bring in Chris Paul, now all of a sudden it's going to be Chris Paul. I'm sorry. CP3 is not going to walk in there and say, okay, Book, I'm going to follow you. He's not going to do that. He's going to walk in there and he's going to be Chris Paul. And Devin Booker, this is something that I've talked about for the last 2 years with Kevin Durant. Book is such a class act, such a good dude. He respects Kevin Durant so much that he defers to him, in my opinion. Now, that's just me. He defers to him. And why wouldn't you? Because that's one of the greatest players in the history of the game. And because of that, that did not help Devin Booker grow as a leader. Going into last season, Book was asked the question, what do you want to get better at? Book said, leadership.
Without hesitation.
Without hesitation. You know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Leadership. He's got to. Base and onions. This has got to become Devin Booker's team. Book has to embrace it, acknowledge the fact that, you know what, just leading by example isn't enough. Sometimes you've got to walk up and say, what are you doing? Sometimes you've got to hold yourself to a standard you'll hold nobody else to so that you can walk up and say, what are you doing? Devin Booker has got to be that guy, and everything else has got to be built around him from that point on.
It's just wild to me that based on everything you just said, it would feel like bringing in Chris Paul would be kind of a pivot as to what the goal of the offseason was. And I don't mean that in terms of Chris Paul's basketball ability, but it's exactly what you just said. Why prioritize Devin Booker being the focus of your team if you're going to go out there and bring in a guy who's, I don't want to put levels to it, but I would say a more respected NBA player, somebody who's looked at as a leader, somebody who's been a face of a franchise over his many years with the Clippers, with the Hornets early on. And then to your point, when he even came in with the Suns, he was in charge. He was the one that was directing. He was delegating. And I'd find it wild that they would all of a sudden decide to pivot and bring him back in after being so aggressive to go after Bradley Beal just to get rid of him. There is some basketball sense to it, I think, but I don't think there's Team Phoenix Suns sense to it. And a majority of it is everything that you just said. If you want this to be Devin Booker's team, you need to tell him that it's Devin Booker's team.
Yes.
Period.
Yes. And you need to stop if you're if you're his coach, Ron Wolfley reporting, if you are his coach, Devin Booker's coach, you also need to encourage him. You need to encourage him.
Jordan Ott, are you listening?
I'm just saying right now, encourage him. Devin Booker, this needs to be you. Now, once again, you don't need to go out, yell and scream and do stuff out of character. You don't need to do that, Book. You don't need to do that.
There's different ways to lead.
Don't be that guy. Accountability is what leadership is all about. And Devin is so respected inside that locker room by his teammates because he's a class act, because he is a good guy, because he's a great player. He's respected in that locker room. And because of that, he's looked at as a leader. Now, all you need to do is embrace that and acknowledge the fact that guys look at you as a leader so that you can hold yourself, again, to a standard you'll hold nobody else to. And your teammates know it. They know that in their heart, so that when you do walk up to them and say, hey, man, we need more from you. You know you're better than this. What are you doing? Let's go. All of a sudden, Devin Booker says that to somebody. That matters and means something to the guy. Accountability is what leadership is built on.
If for whatever reason they do end up deciding to bring back Chris Paul, the other aspect of it is he's going to start. He was an 82-game player last year and a starter for San Antonio, a year after being the sixth man off the bench for the Warriors. Like, is he really going to accept an opportunity behind, basically, Devin Booker and Jalen Green? I would expect that those two would be the starting front court, at least to begin the season. I don't know. By the way, do you think that if they bring back Paul, would they bring back the center?
We didn't even get to that. DeAndre Ayton.
Would they bring back this guy?
He got to his house and apparently slept on an air mattress for months. I'm not sure. That's still, I'd like the oral history of the DeAndre Ayton home buying experience.
You've got a max contract. Like, pay for a mattress and then they'll deliver it. You just have to pay him a little bit more.
I'm sure that the Pacers or that the Blazers would have outfitted his entire apartment or home or whatever. But he talked about how his back was bothering him because he was sleeping on an air mattress. And then he missed.
Wow.
Did he miss a game or a shooter? Was it a game?
It was a game.
He was unable to get to a game because he couldn't get out of his house because he was iced in.
Yeah, for those who missed it, maybe the surprise so far of NBA free agency, the Portland Trailblazers and DeAndre Ayton are agreeing to a contract buyout. So
more on this as the show unfolds.
Oh, definitely. This is that's a fascinating one.
Thanks for watching Wolf and Luke. Tap to see more and click the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.